What's up, guys? So in this video, we're going to go over exactly how to pitch as a high ticket closer. So I have closed over 7 million online, and one of my students just sent me a call the other day where she said admittedly that she cock blocked herself. And because of that, we saw some of the things that did not work well. We also saw some things that did work well, mainly the things that did not work well. So we're going to put together a training here that is the exact formula that helped me become top of the leaderboard at Taylor Conroy's company, helped me crush it at 7th level, helped me crush it at Sarah Turner, and absolutely smash it on every single pitch so that people felt conviction and certainty and clarity to buy. So if you're not following already, like, subscribe for more, and let's dive right into this training. All right, boom. Let's break down what a perfect pitch actually looks like in high ticket coaching. Not too long, not too short, nothing crazy, to the point, avoiding all the details and complexity that cause people to say things like, I need to think about it. So, what I'm about to walk through with you guys here, like I said, this literally helped me hit the top of the leaderboard, right? I have my TEDx talk pitch. This is verbatim the pitch that I used when I was at Taylor Conroy. This thing is still drilled into my mind. I literally word vomited it out right before this using whisper flow because it's still in my head and I could never forget it. If you put me on the spot, I would be ready to pitch that program because I did it so many times. I also have a lead gen script here. This is what I'm using for a cold email lead generation offer that I currently manage. But without further ado, let's get into the formula of what does a perfect pitch look like in high ticket closing. So the first element is the promise, and that includes the program name and what is the outcome of it. So whenever I'm going to pitch, I'm going to say, what is the name of the program and what is the outcome by the end of the time period? So the program name, the program promise, and then the time period of the program of the transformation. So that from the get-go, people at least know what the high level 30,000 foot overview is and they know what to expect, right? In terms of my language style throughout this entire pitch, the words that come to mind are brevity, conviction, and simplicity, right? I don't want to, a fourth grader should be able to understand this in terms of what's going to happen, what's the outcome, where we're going. Like, it should not be complicated. And we want to avoid overly technical details, right? It's really common as experts, consultants, healers to go into all the details because it's something you're passionate about and you know so much about. However, we have to remember that the pitch is not for us, it's for them, right? So we keep it stupid simple and good things happen. Once we go through the promise, then we're going to go into our pillars, right? And every program should have 3 to 4 phases to help someone get the transformation that they want to achieve, right? This purpose of this isn't to give them every deliverable, but more so to walk your student mentally through the experience they get to have with us, maybe some of the highs and lows in it, and helps them feel the emotions of what it would be like to actually go through this process so they can get excited about it. Just like envisioning them getting to get into a Jaguar, fresh, brand new white Jaguar with red leather, like they can feel the details, they can feel the breeze in their hair, like they can feel it, right? Just overemphasizing that. Once we go through that experience, then we go through the actual little bit of the logic as far as the structure. Okay, and the way that we're going to be able to deliver that experience to you is through these things. Usually it's 3 C's. If you sell coaching, I usually would literally say, hey, and the way that we're going to be able to help you achieve this and actually hold structure to it is the 3 C's: the course, the coaching, and the community. And I would detail lightly what each of those include. Nothing too crazy, just enough so that this person logically feels like, okay, I'm actually buying something. Now, another really key skill is student stories. I would memorize 2 to 3 student stories and rehearse them, the exact fears they had, the reason they did it anyways. And if you don't know, go ask your students why they did it anyways, and the results that they got on the back end of making that scary decision, right? So if you have a common objection or a common fear or a common resistance, just go look for a student story where someone actually overcame the objection, overcame the fear, overcame the bad belief, and interview them a little bit so you actually know how to communicate that during your pitch. I inject these to speak to common insecurities or common struggles. So if someone, like when I sold them the TEDx offer, people were scared about not landing a talk. I would talk about the people who, even though they submitted 300 applications, they still got to talk no matter what, and they made it happen. If I'm selling a biz op and people are worried about what if it doesn't work, right? I would share stories about women who had the same exact fears and they made the leap and now they're actually doing it, right? Like, I would just speak to that hero's journey so they could feel like it's possible. Now, throughout the pitch, I'm going to ask things like, okay, and are you with me on that? Okay, does that make sense? Any questions on that? just to kind of break the pitch up. We don't want it to be a monologue. We do want it to feel like a little bit of a back and forth discussion with structure and clearly leading in a direction. At the end of the pitch, we're always going to have a tie down and a double tie down. These are some examples of the tie downs that I've used over the years. These are not rocket science. You can look at Jeremy Miner, you can look at Bill Walsh, you can look at any of these people. Like, these are not anything new. And then doubling down with why do you feel like it could be, and what specifically do you feel like would be most helpful for you. Now, this isn't a must be done at the end of the pitch. Every time, every pitch I've done ends with this, and this avoids people asking like, hey, can you send me info? Like, I want to get this question and lead with this question so I can just nail this thing down. With that in mind, we'll go through 2 sample pitches here so you guys can actually see one in action, and then we'll just do it. This pitch right here closed $2 million in cash collected results. This is not theory. This put me as the top of the leaderboard for 2 years straight with leader.co. You can go look them up. They're doing $2 million a month now, which is insane. I was getting paid company trips, bonuses. I was the guy that everyone looked up to, and I was having a kick-ass time. So let's hit it. All right, guys. So the name of the program is the Thought Leader Accelerator, and the intention is to get you on a TEDx stage in the next 6 months. All right, is that clear? Cool. So do you have a pen and piece of paper, something to take notes with? Shout out to Cole Gordon on this one. Everyone should know that that's from Cole Gordon by now. Like, that's not a surprise, but I would have them write that down. So it'd be like, awesome. I want you to write down 1, 2, and 3. Next to 1, I want you to write land the talk. Next to 2, deliver the talk. And next to 3, leverage the talk. Let's pause for a second. That's a very clear visual. Here are the phases. Here are the outcomes, high level, what's going to happen. And then we actually break down a little bit of each experience. Okay, great. So in that first phase, when we're going to land the talk, what we're going to do is actually have you sit down one-to-one with one of our application strategists. Her name is Sophie. She's absolutely incredible. And what she's going to do is look at your specific idea, look at your story, and help you take all of that and turn it into a perfect application for TEDx, right? She's literally helped hundreds of people land talks, and she knows what works well and what doesn't. That way she can help you stand out in the eyes of the organizers, and you can get to the top of kind of that stack of applications and land this talk as quickly as possible. Does that make sense? Okay, but do you feel like that would be helpful for you? Cool. Now, once we actually get that done and we knock that out, what we're going to do is start helping you submit applications, right? So in order to be able to go out there and deliver the talk, we're going to need to have you land the talk. Does that make sense? So what we're going to do is we're actually going to submit applications, and typically it takes about 3 or 4 months to actually get accepted into a TEDx talk. But I guess I'm just curious, when you do get that application letter, like, how would that make you feel? What's that going to be like? That's where the emotion would pop in and be like, get them to actually feel that moment, future pace that moment. When that happens, people will be like, oh my God, that would be incredible, right? So we would speak into that feeling, and then let's keep rolling. Okay, gotcha. So now once you land that talk, it's going to be about a couple months until you actually deliver it. So what we're going to do is help you actually prep it, right? You're going to have access to our coaches so they can actually help you with the hook, the title, the delivery, the tonality. You're going to rehearse it like dozens of times, and they're going to give you direct feedback on what's working well and what's not working well. And so what that means to you is by the time you go out on the red dot, you're going to have total confidence to actually go out there and crush it on the stage. And I guess I got to ask as well, for you to actually go out on that red dot and share your story, like, what would that mean for you? Oh my God, it would mean everything. Okay. So now here's where things get really exciting, prospect. Once you do deliver the talk, it's time to actually leverage the talk. What that means is this is where we transition into leveraging this talk as an asset that'll help you get paid speaking gigs, more traffic, more views, more authority, more credibility, so that you can expand your reach and your impact, right? It's one thing to know how to do a talk. It's a whole nother thing to know how to leverage it so that you can actually multiply the impact, get more talks, and continue to build momentum, right? So what we're going to do is actually create basically a launch plan, right? One-to-one with you. And this means you're going to know the social media strategy, the email strategy, the promotion necessary to get more views so that this can impact as many people as possible, but also lead to as many opportunities as possible. Because prospect, like, the biggest risk that people run when doing a talk like this is they put on all this effort and they don't actually have a proper promotion strategy, right? They're watching it fall flat. So what we do is we ensure that you have everything you need to make sure you get as many views as possible and this crushes. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. So for example, like when we worked with Cynthia Thurlow, she did over 10 million views on her talk, right? And it's because she had a promotion plan and knew exactly what to do for her specific situation. And the crazy thing about her journey is it actually took her like 180 applications to get selected. And she very well could have given up on the whole TEDx journey. But what we know to be true is that our most successful students are three things. They're committed, they follow through, and they never give up. And she ended up getting to do like hundreds of speaking engagements all around the world on intermittent fasting. And she actually got to make the transition out of her medical career as a nurse into becoming more of a coach and speaker. It's pretty cool, right? And the crazy thing is that she was really hesitant about joining the program and wasn't sure. She kind of had some nerves about if she would be good enough or if her idea would actually impact the world. But here we are years later and the results are in. Time out. When we share student stories, we want people to be able to overcome their own doubts, to see themselves pushing through their own fears so they can get to the other side. Look at the common skepticisms, look at the common fears that your students have and speak to those fears and create a sense of certainty and clarity that what you have here will help them get through that. That's what they're looking for. And then we would go into a little bit of the logic to tie this off. All right, so in terms of support, there's a few things. We're going to have the course, the coaching, and the community. I like to call it the 3 C's, right? The course you have lifetime access to. This is how to land your TEDx, how to write your talk, how to promote your talk. It's literally everything A to Z you need to be a world-class speaker. Beyond that, from coaching, you're going to have 4 weekly talk practice calls where you get feedback. We have twice a month, 3-hour live intensive sessions for talk writing and talk prep and for landing your talk. So you can actually hop into these deep dive sessions as well to supplement your coaching calls. You're going to have access to our event organizer list. We have like literally 5,000 vetted contacts in there. And that means we can help you make intros and get contacts and connections with relevant audiences and relevant organizers. Does that make sense? Okay. Other cool thing is you're going to have access to our private mastermind community. So what that means to you is like you're actually connecting with other high-level entrepreneurs, thought leaders, people who are making impact in the world, who are actually growing meaningful businesses. Is that clear? Okay. Now, I know there's a lot of coaching programs out there, right? And when they get big, sometimes they don't have support. So the way we solve for that is we have a one-to-one dedicated account manager for you. His name's Bradley. He's going to be able to answer any questions for you. He'll check in on your progress. He'll be in your corner the entire way to make sure if you ever do fall off that we can kind of giving you a loving nudge and make sure you get back on track. Does that feel like it would be helpful for you? Cool. Final tie down. Okay. And based on what we covered, does it feel like it could be the answer for you? That's a Jeremy Miner style. I used it on this offer. It worked. And then I would go, okay, why do you feel like it could be though? You can also do the other tie downs we talked about, guys, right? So for the sake of this video, I want to keep it under 15 minutes. I will leave this Google Doc in here. And this is another example of a pitch. This is a lead gen offer that I'm selling right now that's closing like 40%. And it's a much shorter pitch because it's a simpler process. You'll have the pillars of the program, you'll have the support structure, and you have the promise and the pitch name up here, followed by a simple tie down. So feel free to steal these, put them into Claude, put them into ChatGPT, and have it reframe it into, you could say, hey, Claude, I want to write a pitch for my offer. I run a health coaching business, and I want to create the pillars that would make sense. Help me outline my pitch, work it back and forth, and then rehearse this thing over and over until it's drilled into your mind. Because once it is, guys, then you'll get the flexibility to tailor this pitch and actually make it feel custom, even though it's not. That is the biggest skill set, is to make a pitch feel custom, even though it's not. Like when I was selling for Taylor, I did the same pitch every day, 8 times a day, over and over and over and over and over. But I would inject little pieces or variants into it to connect it back to that prospect story. So like to them, it didn't feel cookie cutter. It felt like it was actually meant for them. All right, guys. So if you found this helpful and you want more sales tips, more examples of pitches, of closing, of discovery, live sales calls, follow for more. And we will see you in the next one. Peace. I've been getting dirty money, Jordan Belfort, stacking penny stocks.